All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahshai, Ba'ashim Rachakwadash, that belong to our apostles, the bishop, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, elect. Shalom unto you. Your brother's required with another video. This is more of a continuation. I had this in one video with the previous video, but it, technical difficulties. So I decided just to break it down into smaller videos, and this will make some sense if you've seen the last video, which was basically this video here. Okay, implications of the first Hebrew month. Okay, and I went over the Sabbaths, the Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and how that falls, and just implications were that there's more significant events happening, more Sabbaths that put you in the mind state of it being the first year of the month. Okay, and originally when just coming up with it through the Spirit, I had the first month, and I was going into the name of the first month of the year, but you'll find that there's two names for the first month of the year. So I'm going to kind of get into that a little bit, Lord willing, is edifying. Okay, which AR overview when I brought it up here, and which I'm going to go into the blue letter as well. It says in the Hebrew calendar, as referenced in the King James Version of the Bible, the first month is Abib, also known as Nisan, right? Click on that. It has some places there, which I'm going to grab Deuteronomy 16 and all that. It says, here's a more detailed breakdown. Abib Nisan, the month is considered the beginning of the Jewish ecclesiastical year and is associated with the spring equinox, roughly corresponding March, April. Okay, showing you when the new year is. Okay, according to the Bible, it's not in the middle of winter, January. Okay, it's spring, March, April. Okay, it says it says right here, significance. Abib Nisan is the month in which Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread are celebrated, commemorating the Israelites' exodus from Egypt. Right, and I kind of went into that, and then all the different significance that hold, implications. I use that word again. As far as the things that happen during the first month, how there's the extra, or there's a double Sabbath in the last quarter of the month. Okay, with the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It was a holy convocation, and it backs right up to the regular Sabbath. All right. It says biblical references. The name Abib is found in the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, while Nisan is used in later books like Nehemiah and Esther. And when you get into why, which is going to say when I grab the other Google reference, you'll begin to understand. This month shall be unto you the beginning of the month. This is Exodus 12:2. This month shall be, and this just gets it shorthand. Okay, I'll read it from here. Right, this month shall be unto you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. All right, other months, it goes into that. But it says civil year. While Nisan is the first month of the religious year, the civil year in the Old Testament may have begun. Okay, that's not what we want. So let's go to Exodus 12 real quick. Well, in fact, the blue letter. All right, Exodus 12:2. Right, I just read it. This in the KJV, it shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Let's go into that. See what they give us in here. Okay, beginning, months, first, okay, of the year. Let's see it first, but it's broken up, right? So that's showing you that, and then after that, we know it goes right into the Passover. Now, when we go to Exodus 13 is where I want to go. This day came ye out in the month of Abib. So when you get into it, it's going to say right here, Abiyab. Okay, Abiyab. It says fresh young barley ears, barley, right? Month of ear forming, of greening of crop, of growing green, Abib, month of Exodus and Passover, March or April. Clearly, right? Now, what is that greening of crop? It's telling you when it's starting to grow in spring, because in the wintertime everything's dead. So now the crop is starting to grow. Okay, it's the change of the season from the death season. And when you think about life and the cycle of life, that's how it pretty much goes. You're born in the season, and then you go through from that growth season to the height of your growth, which is like the summertime in life. You know, you hit the strength of your age, then you start declining a little bit. Okay, and then you come around to the death season, you know, which was autumn or fall, if you want to use that. And then you come down to the wintertime, which is your death season. Okay, and then the rebirth happens, you know, when you live a long life. Okay, and it has these for this word in the scriptures. Okay, it says Strong's definition, meaning to be tender, green, i.e. a young ear of grain, hence the name of the month Abib or Nisan. Abib, ear, green ears of corn, not maize, not yellow. It's not mature yet, it's still young and growing. Okay, when you get down into here, barley was in the ear, the month of green ears, the beginning of new moon, beginning at the new moon, April of March, according to the rabbins, first month of the old year, instituted on coming out of Egypt. Okay, so let's go to Deuteronomy. Okay, and it's talking about the Passover, because we know the second Deuteronomy means the second covenant or second law. Basically, is given of the law. And it says here the different feasts. Now, verse 1, 16 and 1, it says, observe the month of Abib, Abiyab, and keep the Passover unto the Lord Yahweh thy God. For in the month of Abib, or Abiyab, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. And even in the last video, I said that full moon, we moved out. You know, we left Exodus out of Egypt, and it was the brightest night that we can bounce. Okay, it was the most light in the night sky. Okay, that lit the earth. Okay, so that shows you that this is in that first month. And okay, so meaning green or young or tender, right? Is what that word means. Now, when we go to, okay, it goes into all of this right here. Let's see, Deuteronomy 16, modern equivalent. Abib roughly corresponds to the months of March and April on the Gregorian calendar. Other references, the month of Abib is also mentioned in Exodus 12:2, and it referred to as the beginning of months. Okay, it'll be a new year unto you, we read, right? And it says, says pretty much. Now, when you go to Nisan, KJV, which I'll get it in Esther. All right, but it says AI overview in the King James Version of the Bible, Nisan, Hebrew, right? I'll get it when I go over there. Refers to the first month of the Jewish ecclesiastical year, corresponding to March, April. So wait, how could it have two names? I was going to explain. The Gregorian calendar, and is mentioned in Nehemiah 2:1 and Esther 3:7. All right, which either one will have the word, but this is where it's going to show it. I think this in this breakdown, it says the KJV uses Nisan to translate the Hebrew word for the first month of the Jewish calendar. It's mentioned in Nehemiah 2:1 and Esther 3:7. In Exodus 12:2, the KJV states, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." So why, if these are going back and forth and have two names, why? Okay, Nisan is the meaning in etymology. Nisan is the month in which Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread occur. The name Nisan is of Babylonian origin, adopted during the Jewish exile in Babylon. Okay, it ultimately originates in Sumerian Nisaj, meaning first fruits, okay, which is that young tender herb, or young tender plant, or that young tender ear begins to grow, okay? Because we know the next feast is the feast of first fruits, where those fruits really come to pass. The Passover is when it barely starts to grow, but then 50 days after that, when you do the count, you understand how to break the calendar down. 50 days after that, then you have the feast of first fruits. Okay, then that's what grew from the Passover basically all the way till then. Okay, so it's showing you how that all works out. Okay, and it shows you when it is. Now, also known as Abib and Pentateuch. All right, so let's see. Let's go to Esther. All right, so we got Esther 3 and 7. It says, in the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, and they cast that is the lot before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, and to the 12th month, that is the month of Dar. Okay, so let's get into this word here. Nisan, right there, which is Nayasan, okay, which says their flight, the first month of the Jewish calendar, corresponding to March or April, clearly putting the new year there, okay, it's in there a couple times. First month, probably of foreign origin, okay, that's why it was a different name for it from being exiled, okay. The first month of the Jewish sacred year, Nisan. Okay, so this is why there's two different words, and they mean two different things. And I think I saw somewhere it said in the beginning or something like that. Where did I find that word at? Okay, wasn't there, was it? Babylonian. Yep, there you go. The word is from Babylonian. From Nehemiah 1 and 1, late Hebrew. Okay, post exile. Okay. All right, so we're just looking at this. Anyway, so this gave the difference. Okay. And yeah, just so you understand that when you see Nisan and you see Abib or Abiyab, which is Abib, right? You know that that's talking about the same time. It's just the difference of it. And I thought this one meant the beginning or something like that. But yeah, I forgot where I was. This right? Where was that? Yeah, here we go. Yep. Says, with this letter, Haman spoke the world into being. Let there be light. And the sun is the annual renewal of the creation of the world. Okay. Month of flowers. I think this is what I was in. Slovakia, but yeah. Okay. Which is beginning. There you go. Month of flowers. Because things bloom in those years. Here we go with this. Things bloom in those years. Okay. Yep. This was the other, yeah. Denotes month of flowers. Okay. Which is that spring. Okay. Occurs. Yep. All right. But when you looked up the other, yes, that's it there. But you looked up the other Abayab, which meant green, which is pretty much saying the same thing, but in a different way, signaling the same, generally the same meaning, using different words. Okay, but one was in exile and one was when we were had our own language. So, yeah, so that was pretty much the point. Just wanted to kind of go into that a little bit. Lord willing, that was edifying. I'm just double checking to make sure there's anything else. Yeah, it goes into that. Yep. So yeah, like I said, that was a point, and Yes, Sumerian. Yep. Yeah, so Lord, what else that if I don't give all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Rachakodash, until the next one, Shalom.